I don't know what has happened. Okay, it has come again. So, with this change in everything, there is a lot of challenge and opportunity, of course. So, now what are the different challenges which are there when I have discussed with the digital solution for substation? So, I will concentrate only on substation that what are the challenges that exist when we are going towards the automation of the substation. So this will actually increase demand on refurbishment of the substation. So everything, whatever is old, we want to refurbish that. So there is an increase in demand for refurbishment of the substation. That is a major challenge. And project execution under increasing cost and time pressure. Of course, whenever we are changing anything, it needs a cost. So we have to do the cost benefit analysis, better utilization of the existing asset. That is another challenge. If everything is fine, people will resist. That's why we want to change. So some people, if the cost, like in developing nation, when the money is very important, people will resist. That okay, if my system is very good, my asset is all right, then I don't want to invest much. So this is the basic challenge. Increase expectation on transmission system availability, safeguarding investment over the entire life cycle. So, if we really want to encourage, if money is not there, what we are doing, as we have seen in Indian electricity sector, when we are not having more money to meet the demand, we have encouraged private players through the Electricity Act 2003 that please come, we are making market based mechanism, please come invest money and you will not regret. So they, as we have made the environment, they have come into uh, more generation. 46% share is coming through private players. So we have made the environment. Similarly, if anybody, we are making them that okay, we want this substation to be digitalized. Private players, please come forward and digitalize this, and then you use this. Different models can be proposed for them. So it is the duty of the government to safeguard interest of the entire life cycle of the investment of the private players. So digital substation actually going to respond for today's utility challenges. So there is of course a lot of challenges, but future lies with the digitalization. I have taken one example only for the uh, substation, but every segment is going to be impacted by the digitalization in the electricity sector. So I have given briefly the key message of this transparency, which I have shown that through the digitalization in power sector, with the help of data and analytics and connectivity, we are going to change everything in the system. We are going to change, reduce operation and maintenance cost. We are going to have improved efficiency. We are reducing the unexpected outages. That is a very important thing, because we want safety. So we want that our protective protection system, which is again a digital protection system which we are using nowadays, it should be it should be so perfect that it will reduce the chances for unexpected outage. This will also help us to extend our asset life. So these are thus to show you that how digitalization is impacting power sector, its potential, and this is going to bring benefit to the owners of the power sector asset as well as wider electricity system, consumer and environment. So in future, the impact of digitalization is going to be seen in every segment of the electricity sector. This figure shows the potential worldwide cost saving of digitalization in power sector and electricity network from 2016 to 40. And this is drawn by for two important parameters. One is OPEX and CAPEX. OPEX means the operation expenditure per year, And so this OPEX includes the maintenance cost, employees cost, and CapEx is known as a capital expenditure, which include everything like starting from the power purchase to every aspect is asset valuation, everything interest rate, everything is covered under capex. So the potential of saving if we are going towards the digitalization of electricity sector is shown by these two parameter, opex and capex. So it is seen from the year 2016 to 40 projection only by 2014. So you can see that it is possible to lower the 5% O&M cost by using the digitalization. It is possible to increase the efficiency by 5%. It is possible to increase the efficiency of the network losses, which is very important, especially the country like India, where we are having huge network losses. The possibility of reduction of the losses is a big boon by using digitalization. And the expectancy of the life of the power plant has again increased by 5 years if we go towards the digitalization, and extension of the network life is again for 5 years if we go for the privatization. So the key message, this is drawn on the US, all US data, and again the IEA source for taking this transparency, and they have shown the projection for the base year from 2016 to 40. So the key message from this figure is that cumulative saving from the wider spray use of digital data and analytics in power plant and electricity network could average around US dollar 80 billion per year. So this much, a US dollar 80 billion per year is the possibility of saving if we make our power sector fully digitalized in future. So for going towards this, we need to adopt a different framework. We need to adopt different methodologies. And what are these? So we need to adopt a different way we are doing business. So the main important aspect which I am going to cover here is that in terms of business model only. And I will show later that how I have used this new business approach. And we have published a paper in 2018 by using a new business model into the distribution sector. So I will show you that. And for further reference, you can go to the energy policy website, general, and you can just see and download, or if you can ask me, I can send you that paper in which we have used a new business approach for the distribution sector. So how all this methodology and framework which are essential to adopt the change of digitalization, I'm going to discuss in terms of business model innovation only. So three main types of business model innovation is needed as far as deciding methodology and framework. These are industry model innovation, enterprise model innovation, and revenue model innovation. So three main types of business model innovation are proposed if we really want to go for that. One is the first one is industry model innovation. In this industry model innovation, we are expecting that industry will innovate the value chain by moving into the new industry, redefining the existing industry to serve new market, or creating entirely new industry. So industry 4.0 is the new industry model innovation framework which need to be adopted. Another business model for innovation which is categorized as enterprise model innovation. So as the name shows, enterprise. So in this enterprise model innovation, we expect that innovation will took place around the structure of the enterprise, and the role it plays is in new or existing value chain with focus on those areas of the business where it has an advantage and deliver values. So the focus is the change and innovation proposed in the structure of enterprise in the enterprise innovation model. The third one is the revenue model innovation, in which we want to reconfigure the way we are having our revenues generated and pricing. We are deciding the pricing. So, a lot of innovation is needed to redesign, reconfigure the revenue for product, for service, and for value mix, and introducing new policy model into the framework. So you can see that this is the traditional electricity value chain, and in the emerging electricity value chain, we are proposing a new way of business model. So you can see that vertical structure, there is a less scope for a market mechanism, less scope for privatization, less scope for changes. But if we are going towards the emerging value chain of electricity, then in every segment we are introducing a different way, the way we are doing power flow and information flow between the different segments. So you can see that the power flow is possible directly from the power generation and trading to the end consumer. So this is the new way of innovation, which is possible through emerging electricity value chain. Similarly, information flow is possible directly from power generating and trading to the end consumer. In between, we have to use various platform. We have to design a system where we are able to provide a different platform. So I'll discuss that how this is possible when we need to change from single sided platform to the multi sided platform. So the single sided platform which we are using presently, the it's a one side. The seller is selling electricity to the buyer, and the buyer has no right. And of course, in the system there are intermediaries. There are possibility of intermediate players, but it is used only through a single sided platform. But in a multi-sided platform, there may is a possibility for multiple types of buyers and seller interacting with each other. So if you really want to see the platform, example of the multi-sided platform, I can give the example of the shopping mall. Shopping mall is an example of multi-sided platform where lot of manufacturer, retailers, and shoppers all are benefited through a single location where they can meet, they can do a business, and a buyer can go and at one place by using multi-sided platform, and they can do their shopping. So multi-sided platform are essential when we want to move towards the emerging scenario of digitalization. So in the coming year, it is possible that all these segments of electricity, whether grid or information or consumer, we are moving towards multiple direction, and we are going to use a multiple platform where everyone can interact. Internet is a multiple platform where everyone can interact. So this is one example I have given in the ecosystem. I'll not go into the detail. You can see, but for everything, who can be a participant and what is the platform provider? Who will provide the platform for multi-sided interaction? Like an example of energy management. In the ecosystem of energy management, the participating sites are consumers, businessmen, energy management service provider like ISO, SO, applications, and control providers. All will be a participating people in the energy management services. So I'm just giving you the example that how the multi platform can be assigned to each and every ecosystem of the electricity sector. So I'm taking the example of energy management. So in the energy management, the various participating people are consumer and all other energy provider, SO, CO, ISO, and energy management services. And who can provide this multi-sided platform in this ecosystem is the energy broker or trader. So these broker and trader can provide a platform where all the participating people can interact with each other. So similarly, in all ecosystem of the functions of the electricity sector, we can see through this. Again, this is based on IEA. Participating different people, and then who can provide the platform to assess the multi-sided activity for every segment or every function. So, like this is an energy market portal. As I have discussed the energy management, taken the example of energy management. So, in this energy management portal, platform owner could be a simple operator or regional operator or state operator or a central operator. Like in India, we have a central regional authorities which are like through POSOCO, they are doing the all management. So they can provide a multi-sided platform where everyone can interact. And this will create value to the marketing, and this platform of energy market portal can be used by the different end players, energy retailer, generation, distribution, transmission segment, and ultimately provide application of these services to the consumer. This platform is proposed, the source for this platform is by the IBM Institute for Business Value Analytics. They have proposed this platform for the interaction for the energy management. Another platform which is proposed by the IBM Institute of Business Value Analytics for the energy management, in which they have created an ecosystem for marketing between the energy management service provider to the end user, taking different analytics and providing a multi-sided platform where everybody can interact with each other, can communicate with each other, can market their product with each other, can value their product with each other, and how the money flows to the different component through the market platform. And this platform owner can control everyone as a multi-sided platform. So this is essential. This looks complicated, but with the help of new emerging AI techniques, there is a possibility and there is a scope that everything can be managed so well in the electricity sector. So this is the business value analytics, which is proposed by the IBM Institute. So till now, I have covered that digitalization in the electricity sector involves lot of ICT applications, lot of data need to be generated, need to be handled out, need to be stored in the energy supply chain. And it offers a lot of advantage and every segment in the ecosystem. And all this is possible with the association of the smart energy, with the help of smart meters, with the help of smart sensor, and with the help of IoT and blockchain technology that in future. So I have covered these things till now. So the IoT basically will be a main block for digitalization, which will integrate all the appliances and integrate services. Please mute your mic.
Zoom le recording option varum.
Yeah, please zoom your mic. Please mute your mic. So we have covered this thing. So but how we are going to achieve this in the electricity sector? So the main pillar, as I told you, this system looks very, very complicated. We have seen in the multi-sided platform where so many people are interacting. Then how this is possible? How in practically it is possible? So the main pillar for realizing all this digitalization is artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, blockchain applications. So all of you are aware of these new terms which are become so common in electricity sector: AI, machine learning, deep learning, blockchain. So I will just simply go cover briefly that what we mean by and how we are going to use these terms in the electricity sector. So all of you know that artificial intelligence we are using in many problems in electricity sector, from load forecasting to many generation. Many places we are using AI. So this AI is an advanced technique which help to understand past, optimize present, and predict future. So this is going to use in a bigger way in a smart grid operation, especially in the fault detection and the protection and self-healing. Self-healing is the main advantage which we are emphasize in the digitalization. So this is AI is already used for forecasting and planning in electricity sector. So this intelligent system which we are using presently in different application in fault diagnosis, forecasting, and security assessment. Machine learning. What we mean by machine learning and how this is going to be used in the electricity sector. Machine learning is nothing but a practical tool to realize AI, and this is having a number of application in the electricity sector due to its advantage in analytics and computational capability. This is widely used in the utilities for the customer segmentation presently in many countries. Yeah, MI machine learning is used for customer segregation, pricing forecasting, fraud detection, and predictive maintenance and operation. Like in Pacific Gas and Electric Company in California, they have employed machine learning to increase the accuracy and precision of load reduction prediction for demand side response. So they are using it. Pacific Gas and Electric Company in California, they are already using machine learning for load reduction prediction for demand side load management. In San Diego Electric Company, Gas and Electric Company also, they are also using machine learning to conduct anomaly detection to spot hidden system issues from the massive data set. So they are already the various statistics are showing that machine learning it's finding its way in the electricity sector, and a lot of people are using electricity machine learning in electricity sector. North America also they are using machine learning for meter data management. So machine learning can be coordinated with the technology of IoT, and this is essential tool for smart house appliances and smart building ecosystem. And according to Capgemini, one of the consulting firm, by 2017, World Energy Market Observatory, out of almost 2900 company, participated in North America IoT revolution. 401 are in the artificial intelligence and machine learning category. And this out of the region of total $73 billion investment in IoT, $12 billion investment is for machine learning and artificial intelligence. So you can see that there is a lot of money pumping in both the machine learning and artificial intelligence. Another term which is very often used in electricity sector is a deep learning. So deep learning is again more a complicated phenomena, which is based on non-linearity principle, and this is artificial intelligence function that imitate the working of the human brain in the process data and creating pattern for use in decision making. So we want to learn from the human brain, which is a fabulous thing. A lot of research is going on. We want to intimate this into electricity sector, and we want to use the intelligence of human brain by using artificial intelligence, by incorporating artificial intelligence into the electricity sector through the deep learning. So deep learning is nothing but a subset of machine learning and in artificial intelligence that has network capable of learning unsupervised from data that is unstructured or unable. So if lot of non-linearity is there in the system, it can take care of this. So deep learning is an AI function that mimics the working of the human brain in process data for use of decision making. And deep learning AI is able to learn from data that is both unstructured and unbalanced. So I'll not go into the detail. I can share this because of the time constraint. If you want, I can share with transparency with all of you. So blockchain, another term which is recently used, that blockchain we will be using in electricity sector. So this blockchain is nothing but a incorruptible digital ledger. So instead of having all ledger, conventional ledger, it's a digital ledger of economic transaction that can be programmed to record not just financial transaction, but virtually everything of value. This is the definition given by author of the blockchain revolution, Don and Alex Transcott. So the key element of the blockchain technology, which is applied to energy and commodity, that it is the digital public ledger, which records each and every transactions. It is, of course, secure. It update to the consensus, and it actually involve all the smart contracts. So it is based on these four pillars of digital public ledger, update of consensus, secure, smart contract. It is forming a chain. So that's why it is known as a blockchain. So in the electricity sector, blockchain can initiate the shift of the trading ecosystem from a centralized to decentralized one. And it does by removing the dependence on intermediaries through direct end-to-end energy trading. Peer-to-peer trading is one of the example using blockchain. So there will be no intermediaries, there will be no intermediate person, direct contact is possible. So this blockchain will also enable individuals and communities to start energy production with initial investment gained through crowdfunding. So you can be a more individual entrepreneur, and through crowdfunding you can generate money, invest, and become an entrepreneur. Packaging of number of services like billing, supplier, as an integrated function is possible with in a lower price by using this blockchain. So I can become an entrepreneur. I can design my own blockchain, which can cater the need of energy services like billing, and I can become an entrepreneur for service industry by creating my own blockchain. So in this way, new benefits is possible through the blockchain technology, and all this is the main thing which we expect from any system. Transparency, which is possible through the blockchain, nobody can enter, nobody can change anything, and everyone can see and feel that the system is more transparent. Trust, through blockchain technology, we can create a lot of trust into the system. Our system become more and more efficient, and lot of control is possible using the blockchain technology. Control in terms of auditing, controls in terms of cost control is possible. So all these transparency, trust, efficiency, and control, which is the pillar of any business, is possible in the electricity sector with the help of blockchain technology. So prosumer, I have already discussed that in the prosumer, we have already discussed this. I will just go into my case study in which I have used in electricity sector. Electricity sector, I have used multi-sided platform to propose a new business model into distribution sector. So I have proposed a business model making framework for smart network, because I have to see in electricity sector what I can digitalize and what are the different things in which I can concentrate. So I have taken care of the infrastructure built up and assess management, organization structure development, data collection, data analysis, trading practice. These are the different frameworks for proposing the smart business model, which I have proposed and published in 2018 into energy policy. So I have proposed because in India, whatever business model we are using, right from the still we are not privatized in distribution sector, and our distribution sector is the main weakest link. So we need to do a lot into distribution sector to make our distribution sector more and more efficient. And why it is so important? Because money will come back into the system through distribution only. So if your distribution system is weak, your money will not properly reach back to the generation. So it is very, very important to make your distribution sector very healthy. And unfortunately, in India, our weak segment is distribution sector, with lot of losses. So many things has been tried up, like distribution franchisee is a new way proposed business model by government of India. Lot of DF like in Agra, they are doing very well. In Kanpur, they are doing distribution franchisee, but there is a lot of drawback. Although in Shiglu committee, they have proposed that immediately we need to switch 230 big cities in India to the DF mode. But there is a lot of problem with the DF model. Like in Madhya Pradesh, we have started DF model for 3 cities, Gwalior, Sagar, and Ujjain. We have bidded them. SL Power has bought the bid, but unfortunately, Gwalior and Ujjain has not started. Sagar started with lot of troubles. So this DF is not successful. So I have basically seen what are the drawbacks of the DF model and how we can improve the DF model and propose a new business model into Indian distribution sector. And this can be applicable to any developed country, of course. So my business model is divided into three categories. One is the physical infrastructure unit. Another main unit is distribution management and maintenance unit. And third one is the control, operational, and revenue management unit. In this three structured way, I have proposed a model. So as the name indicate, physical infrastructure unit, what I have incorporated in this physical PIU, DMU, and CORMU, I will show you. But the important thing to note down that multi-sided platform business model is proposed through this, in which every player, basically these three, PIU, DMU, and CROMU, can interact with each other through internet and create value into the business model. So what comes under the PIU, physical infrastructure unit? In this PIU, we have discoms, metering companies, information technology companies, ITcom, and communication company, insurance company, independent regulator, and project finance company. So you can see that we have destructured the whole distribution segment. So we have created distribution companies. We have created a metering company. So all we know that we need meter into the system. And we always have a complaint that meter is faulty. Consumer has a complaint, meter is not good. We want to replace all the meter by the smart meter but from where the money will come. So all this thing can be taken care if we actually create a new company and give a new business to the metering company who not only install the meters, they can manufacture meter, they can buy meters from different manufacturing company, but they can install meter in the consumer premises. So we have created a metering company. We have created an information technology company. So this information technology company is responsible for all the information happening into the system. And similarly, we have created an independent regulator. Although we have a regulator in India, according to ERC Act 1998, we have state regulator as well as central regulator everywhere in electricity sector in India. But here we are proposing an independent regulator for that particular reason. So this independent regulator is beyond the regulation, comes under the regulation of the state regulator. And we have proposed one more company in this PIU, that is Project Finance Agency. And this Project Finance Agency that is basically responsible for financing to anyone who need money as a company into the system. Similarly, we have proposed the insurance company also, which can take care of the insurance of any segment. Like metering company can approach the insurance company, and consumer can also approach the company for that. Then the second main component beside the physical unit is distribution management and maintenance unit. And what is proposed in this DMMU is that it is the responsibility for DMMU to carry the task of power management and network maintenance into the distribution sector. So all the power management is taken care by DMMU. They carry out the maintenance and management work for various distribution system component as a single entity, and they are more likely to be more efficient. And if they want, they can outsource their maintenance and management work for major components such as distribution feeder, distribution transformer, etc. So they themselves can create different companies by providing the franchisee for feeder maintenance. They can create a feeder franchisee, and for distribution transformer maintenance or other work, they can create another franchisee which can take care of only distribution transformer franchisee. So in this way, we are giving the different segmentation of different function. Chota chota tod karke we are making the big system, so that all of them, and why this is possible, why it is possible to break the whole system into very small component, because of the multi-sided platform, because of the internet connectivity. So we can connect all of them. And if our system, this business model is possible only when we have a multi-sided platform, when we have a digitalization, so that every small segment can interact with each other. So all this feeder franchisee or distribution transformer franchisee can take part in the power management through this whole entity. So the proposed model of the new business model also suggests setting up the distribution VAR trader. So we are also proposing that there should be a distribution VAR trader for the task of reactive power management and energy service company ESCO for the energy efficiency. So it is proposed that while the distribution DVTR, distribution transformer company, will be technology oriented, this energy service company would also oriented towards efficiency, and this will brought about the market and economic mechanism into the system. So ESCO will take care of the economic and market mechanism component of the system. So why we are proposing distribution VAR trader into the system? Because we know that the reactive power management is very, very poor into the system, in the value chain. So that's why we have proposed here that there should be one separate company which can take care of the reactive power management, which is very essential. All of us understand the importance of reactive power. If any imbalance comes into the reactive power, that will create a lot of problem into the system. The third unit proposed in this business model is the control operation and revenue management unit. So this RME, revenue management engine, in this control panel is responsible for energy pricing, consultation, and this, of course, they will do with the consultation of independent regulator for billing and collection for consumer management, and also they will decide what should be the charges for the new connection for the consumer or for any industry. So apart from the energy pricing, various other activities of RME, revenue management engine, can be carried out through various BPOs. And we have also proposed the distribution system operator. That will be the basic operator, which will be the brain of the distribution unit. And this will take care of the control and operational tasks by managing data center and control center. And this DSO can also take care of the renewable energy DG distributed generation. And this is also promote renewable obligations by different means with the help of regulator. We have also proposed the social networking engine into this different model. We have also proposed the training institute in this model, so that separate training institutes are proposed so they can take care and they can provide, because when we are using a different approach in the model, the training is needed for every person into the segment. Not only engineers, but the financer, for the legal person, training is needed. So there is a one company is proposed into this new business model, which can take care of the enhancement of the skill of the workforce into the company, and they will be responsible for providing all kind of training to the people. So this is the final figure of proposed business model, which is already published. This is also taken up. This model is also taken up by the ISGF. I hope you all are aware of the ISGF. This is the one Indian Smart Grid Forum. ISGF. This comes under the Ministry of Power. So I request those who are not aware of ISGF activity, please go through ISGF website. Lot of information of the smart grid is available. Whatever the project which are going up in India, the information is available. This ISGF is the body of Ministry of Power, so very authentic. So they have made different working forces, and they have taken this work and make a blueprint for proposing new business model into the distribution sector. So that is also they have taken. So if you see this looks very complicated, but of course, this is complicated, but very, very foolproof, because we are going to use multi-sided platform. And you can very well see from this transparency that we have used three main pillar of this business model, which is PMU, a physical infrastructure model, programmable and operational model, and distributed management and maintenance model. So all these segments which comes under the different three segments are shown in this figure. And you can see that all of them are interlinked. All of them are interconnected. And all three are also interconnected with each other by multi-sided platform. So all this is possible because of the multi-sided platform, because of the digitalization, because of the Internet of Things. It is possible to propose a new business model in developing countries where a lot of accountability is required, especially in distribution sector. Because this is not the scenario of India that our distribution sector is the weakest in the link of generation and transmission. I used to tell very often to my student that if we need to compare our generation sector with any developed company, then we are at par. If we want to compare our transmission sector with any developed country, we are at par, and many places much better. But if we really want to compare our distribution sector, we are really very weak in the distribution sector. And we all understand the importance of the distribution sector because money flows back into the system through distribution only. So there is a lot of focus by government of India also to improve the distribution sector. Lot of digitalization, lot of improvement, lot of automation is going on into, and there are two funds especially created by government of India to improve the distribution sector, which you might be aware, APDRP and the RAPDRP fund is particularly dedicated. And one most important thing which government of India is using first time for the allocation of the fund, that they are giving more fund to the more efficient company. So they are not allocating for just like that. They are using incentive performance based way for distributing fund. So those who are doing good, of course, government of India is doing rating with the help of one agency of the different distribution company, and they are providing funding accordingly. So those who are doing good, they are getting more incentive, they are getting more money. And those who are not performing well, there is an incentive for them that they need to work hard to get more money from government of India to improve their performance. So performance based evaluation is done in the distribution sector to provide the money. So by this long session, I think you must be bored also. But I'm fortunate that this is the first session, so we all people are fresh. So our future energy system will look like this: complicated but interconnected. So customer is going to play a very important role in future. They are connected, and our future electricity system incorporate many things. So this is just to show you our future in system. But for implementing this future system, we need to have a lot of policy making. We have to have a lot of leadership skill by the leaders of the government, because ultimately the electricity sector is still government owned sector in many countries, especially in India. So lot of vision is needed and lot of leadership skill is leaded by the policy maker. So I would like to conclude my this with this figure that the digital technology has a lot of tremendous scope and potential to contribute to the growth in the sector, and this will help to deliver exceptional shareholders, customers, and environmental value in future. And this provide opportunity for all to participate in the future of electricity in unprecedented manner. It is full of digital promise. So we are in India is we are not going to use any technology which is mature technology came after 10 years from abroad or a developed nation. This is the time we can parallelly work with them, because they are also implementing smart grid, they are also implementing digital technology. So in the same footing, we have an advantage in India to go for the latest trend and utilize all opportunity. And this opportunity is only possible when there is an economic value. So electricity sector is going to realize rapid digital transformation, and it is expected. World Economic Forum has estimated that there is a dollar 1.3 trillion of value to be captured globally from 2016 to 2025 by this digitalization and digital transformation. So a lot of economic value, lot of scope for business, lot of money is there into this sector. And why this is possible? And why this is possible? Because everything is reducing. So if you see the cost of technology, it is drastically reducing. So this, with the help of this transparency, I just would like to show that how much scope is because of the reduction in the cost of sensor, how much scope exists because of the cost of reduction in processing, cost of bandwidth, cost of digital storage, cost of flash memory. So all and every component, there is a lot of scope for reduction in the cost because of the mature once the technology is mature, this always happen, and this is happening. This is the based on the Goldman Sachs investment report recently. So this is our dynamic prime minister. He is breaking all the record. We are breaking all the record. We are energy sufficient country, no demand supply gap, and we are going towards the providing power to all by 24/7. Many states and many cities, we are able to get 24/7 power. So this is the quote by, I really like that, कि माना है अंधेरा घना है, लेकिन दिया जलाना कहाँ मना है. So there is a lot of scope. Thank you very much for patience hearing, and thank you very much. And if you really need to ask question, you can ask question for 5 minutes, or you can write question to me. I will try to answer question to you. So whatever is your question, you can directly write to me, to my email ID, or you can write to IoT platform. We will try to address your question. So over to you, Priyanka.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for this very, very informative session. And I'm sure that participants have benefited a lot through your knowledge and whatever information you have.